We have so many stories in our lives, but our stories are not always heard. On the Hear My True Story podcast, we tell our own true stories.
Before the white car parked, our head teacher had scattered. Looking at him, I could only see his tie that was flying backwards, waving at us, and he disappeared in thin air.
I want to share my life story. I want to share my voice with the people because I know that just a small joke I can tell through this podcast, it will make someone smile.
When you ask me what I fear most in life, I would definitely respond to you and say it's fear itself.
We are fighting for togetherness. We are fighting for equal rights. We are fighting to end injustice.
You don't have to be a storyteller or writer because, guess what? Life writes the best stories.
Hear my true story.
The episode you're about to listen to is a special collaboration between Ugandan Art Speaks Out and the Hear My True Story podcast. In this series, young poets from Uganda, East Africa, share their personal stories, dreams, and what inspired them to become poets. At Hear My True Story, we team up with like-minded podcasts to bring these untold stories to the world. We hope you enjoy this wonderful episode, brought to you by Hear My True Story and Ugandan Art Speaks Out.
This is your favorite time of the week with your number one podcast.
Hear my true story.
How are you doing? Do you look pink? Face it, pink. You like pink. That's the right word, pink.
Yes, it's the word.
What does it mean? I have no idea what it means, but I hear people use it.
I also hear people use it from the UK. I don't know what pink means, but
it's a slang. And it's
a
beautiful.
slang.
I think beautiful. When you're like lighting and stuff glowing.
So
that's the glow.
I'm internally screaming.
Black is beauty. You're living in black is the beauty. So, Asha, I've seen you perform at the Valentine's package. What was it called? How am I forgetting it?
Oh my goodness, the name of the show?
Yeah.
The name of the show, it was something along the lines of Will You Be My Valentine? I really don't recall. Peter would kill me. I don't recall.
But that you have this energy. I mean, you can scream. You can actually really scream. And you're acting. Someone is pulling the rope, but actually not pulling it. But someone can see that she's dead. The next minute she's dead. If she stays like this, she'll be dead. I mean, you are. Are you?
Yes.
Well, I can remember.
Wow, your memory is amazing.
Yeah. Are you Asha? You're doing journalism?
No, education.
Education, yeah. I think I mistook you with someone else then for that. Yeah, but that was really amazing.
Thank you so much.
I missed watching you on the night experience. I would have really loved to watch you. So let's talk about you. Who are you? Your full names. When you start doing poetry, what inspires you to do poetry? I mean, I need to get into your mind. Let me just get into this.
My name is Taban Asha.
Taban Asha. You don't have another name?
No, that's okay. Yeah, Taban Asha, like a cool name. Yeah, I have tried, but
I'm called Linda Dina. So people keep asking me, "What's your other name?" You guys don't have any other names. It's just cool parents,
Taban Asha, right? And it's so funny because I used to think my name is so weird as a kid. I just realized it was a cool name later on in life. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Don't do that to your children. You shouldn't do that. Because when I give birth, I'll have them like serious sentences for names. I'll give them serious sentences. Because what I've gone through, I don't want my children to go through this.
I'd want to traumatize my children and give them like random names like Tree.
Tree?
Yeah. Just so they can be confused as well. Like I also don't know why. True. Stormy, okay.
Stormy, wave, water.
Sam.
Yeah.
Let's see, like in the beginning, it was my best friend's idea, but then I thought about it. I was like, that'd be amazing. Like the kids would be confused the whole time because people would ask them, "Why is your name Tree?" I don't know. They also don't know. Just yeah, they can't go away with it.
Just co-parents. I get it. I understand it. So, how do you get to poetry? Where did you start? What inspires you? I mean, I have all these questions. I'm like,
I started, oh my God, how do I get to poetry? I don't even, to be honest, I don't even remember watching someone. I don't remember seeing someone and being like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. I need to try it out. No, because I was quite young when I started writing. I consider writing in general, not just poetry, because I started writing little songs when I was 8 and I'd give them to my auntie. But I don't know what happened to the songwriting. I can't write a song.
8 years. I don't know what I was doing at 8 years. I was still, what is it called? Suckling my thumb. Yes, I'd go to my bedroom and close myself there and suckle my thumb.
I have to brag as an intelligent kid. Wow. I was. Yeah. It's the northern genes.
I get it.
So yeah, I started writing little songs. I'd give them to my auntie, and she's like, "This is cute." And she started calling me my songwriter. So I think I grew into whatever it is, the stage before puberty, and I was like, no, this is not my life. I can't be writing these things. I'm not a nerd. I'm cool.
Too cool for that.
Too cool for this. I can't be doing this. But then later on in my primary 6, as 11, then our English teacher tasks us. It's like, he was called Mr. Richard. Yeah, Mr. Richard. It's like, I want you guys to write poems, to read different poems about different things. I had never in my life written a poem. But we had done poetry. Like I'd seen, let me say, a structure. Even from MDDs where they make, where P3 is doing a poem. So I just got that from that knowledge and I wrote about flowers. It was a poem about flowers and it had so much rhyme. And my teacher was like, this is actually really nice. You have a future doing this. And to be honest, the things we tell kids matter. Because it's like the moment you told me you have a future doing this,
and you started seeing your future, and here you are.
I need to do this. I have a future doing this, and here I am. Because I write from plays, short stories, then poems as well. But I have to say, poetry has skyrocketed. Like it has gone beyond all the other things that I can do.
I get your point.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I started writing. Then serious writing, because, I was writing, but I wouldn't consider it serious writing. So I joined Chibuli Secondary School. It's a Muslim school. So I'm not trying to come from my Muslim institutes, because I've been in Muslim institutes, even in my university. I'm not trying to come for them or anything, but the truth has to be said. They need to work more on, I don't know what we should call this, but some of them call them maybe into Zungu. I don't know why they brand it that way. I don't understand, but the culture in Muslim institutions is not that, like you'd see, Gayaza poetry is not something new. Nabisusa poetry is not something new. Like these kinds of co-curriculars are not something new. When you come to Muslim schools, it's more of sports, religion, I think
class. It goes back to the core values of the institution.
Anyway, that is true. Yeah. So anyway, I joined Chibuli. I still kept on writing. I was still my extraordinary self, my extra self. So I'd write. A few opportunities, of course, would come in here and there where I would have to showcase my writing, whether it's poetry or writing plays. Sometimes I'd compete in writing plays and all that. Yeah, and Then I remember a new teacher comes, Mr. Liku, and he's interested. He's like, this is amazing. What you're doing is really amazing. It's great. Your writing is good. It's mature and all that. And I thought, I am a poet. I had labeled myself a poet because, a teacher is trying to not break my morale.
I mean, from the word go, you're having all these titles. You're a songwriter. Your aunt is calling you a songwriter.
Yeah.
Your school are calling you poet. Now you're seeing your future. Your teacher told you, man, this is your future.
Yeah, and along the way, I had written things, and there were competitions in school that I would write for my house. I'd write for my school, and then
at the end of the day, you win a cup.
Yeah, I win something. And I'm like, Damn, this is me. This is my genre. My bad B era. But anyway, so when I joined my Form 6 VAC, it was very funny how I even got into poetry for real. Because my mom paid for me to do a tailoring course. I didn't want, actually to date, I don't want. Even when I look at my friends who are making something for themselves through fashion and design, I'm like, good for you, not for me. I don't want. So my mom forces me, and she kept on giving me transport to go to that school where I was doing the tailoring stuff from. So I did that for a week. Then I remember my bestie tells me, you know what? I have a friend of mine. She tells me they usually go to National Theatre. They do this poetry stuff. They do acting and all that. And that's your type of stuff. You should go. This is from 6 VAC. I didn't even stop. I didn't hesitate. I was like, transport is there even. Transport to go to school. So I started going, and I did my very first show in Form 6 VAC with Kagai Pizza. That was Chitara Nation Vasin VAC. But when I joined, I realized I was nothing, because I met all these other different people who had been doing poetry. Students
you actually realized the era was not your era. It was not your bad B era. You've been lying to yourself all along.
People were so good. They would try. I remember this girl, Bridget. Oh my goodness! I used to think my interpretation of poetry was it has to be precise. You tell a story in a few words. I didn't know that poetry can be an epic, because when I did education, I did English and literature, I realized that poetry evolved from being an epic, a whole novel of poetry. So I didn't know these things. And I'm seeing this girl is writing a whole story, and it's coming off of her head. She's just giving lines and punchlines, and I'm like, what have I been doing? I was ashamed to even recite my poetry, and I'm like,
no, you were just, what is it? You were the one-eyed man amongst the blind, wherever you were.
Yes.
Now you've come to the ones that...
These kids where I was were nothing. I was the boss. It's like, oh my goodness, that girl, she speaks good English, writes poems. And I came where a girl speak good English and write oh my God. It was amazing. I had never seen that. I did not know that the poetry culture was that amazing in Uganda. I really didn't. I existed in this small bubble.
People do not know that. People do not know.
People really don't.
And they need to know it.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to do that.
I don't know.
But this is the way. So
I hope so. I really pray so.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I get with Peter Kaga. He helped me, he nurtured me, and I became better at what I was doing. I wrote better. There was transition in my poetry, and I saw that. I don't even think I ever told him that. I don't even think he ever saw that.
So we need to give him his flowers.
Yes, we need to give him his flowers, because there was transition from the kind of poetry I was writing to what it became when I met Peter, and that is how I grew into the kind of poetry that I'm writing even to date. So I took a break from poetry, being doing education. I feel like these are the excuses I tell myself to not accept that I was procrastinating, but I was doing education. There were so many course units. I was geographically, my campus is also was far.
Yeah, it's far.
So it all became a lot. The workload, kind of, not really, it's a lie. I was just procrastinating. And anyway, so 2020 election time, I'm just and I'd taken so long. When I stopped going to National Theatre with Peter, it's I even took so long to write. I would write once in a while, but not really like how it was with Peter. There was the pressure, but beautiful pressure to write.
I know.
Yeah. So anyway, and now here I am. And I was watching the news, and it is so much. The people that are being shot, because I saw this girl, she had gone to work.
The one who was having the fruits and stuff
yeah,
like
the
that.
one who had the fruits and whatnot. And she was shot.
It's terrible.
And it was terrible. And the thing that came to my head was this could be my mom, because my mom has raised us. She's not like a big scale Anna. She's a small scale Anna. And she tells us before she made the little progress because she calls it little because our parents are always being noble and whatnot, the little progress that she made with her life now, where she started from. She was like, me, I used to move around in taxi park with these bottles of juice. I used to literally hawk my juice. I'd make juice and hawk it. So when I see this girl and I'm like, a few years back, this could have been my mother. You know, it could have been my mother. I've woken up, I want to go look to give my kids something.
And she doesn't come back alive.
And she doesn't come back alive.
Terrible.
It was terrible. And then it just like, because me, while I can write a poem in one sitting, my best poems have come from me writing. I write a stanza. I just like keep noting them down.
Yeah.
Not some on my phone, not some somewhere else. And then I converge it all into a poem at once. So I was just seated there, and the very last lines of the poems are the ones that came first to me. I was just seated there and I'm like, now Ugandans are scared of going to work because their places of work look so much like a graveyard. And I'm like, So 2 days, I wrote the whole piece, I put it together. And when I read the piece, I cried. I'm just like an emotional junkie. It was amazing. I cried. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is the best thing I've ever done. And I'm like, it can't stay in the book.
Yeah,
I had a friend of mine, he's called Ndelea. He was doing photography and singing as well. Lucky. So I called Lucky and I'm like, I want to record. I see you do little covers for songs. I want to record. He's like, okay. So I'm thinking because he would send me covers of songs here. I'm thinking this whole time this guy has been like working in studio and
something like that.
I reached, first of all, it was my ex's place, but he's my nice ex. I like him. He's a nice person. So like I reached and I'm like, he didn't even tell me this is where we're doing the recording from. He's like, yeah, it's what's convenient. And I'm like, how are we doing the recording from here? So you see that closet? That's where we're recording from.
You're like,
So I'm okay. I'm all about creative, but hey,
this is more than creative.
This is so ghetto. But I would always, anytime I reach a bad situation, rock bottom, I tell myself, this is going to sound so nice in the success story. And be like,
I know.
I did this and this and this before I got here. So we cushioned the walls with mattresses. And I started recording. So I started recording. This guy is like, I don't feel the emotion. He was using his phone. I'd forgotten about that. His iPhone, over 7. Yeah. He was using his phone. And he's like, okay, yeah, so I need to hear emotion and what I need you to record this poem like how you wrote it. And I'm like, okay, fine, let's start. We record. So that very night he told me, Asha, this thing is amazing. I'm done with it. And I'm like,
and you can't wait here.
I'm like, okay, you send it. And the moment he sent it like this, I was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. This is amazing.
You're back to your era, your bubbly era.
This is what my teacher was talking about in P6. This is my life. This right here is the blood that flows through me. Oh my God. So I sent it to my contacts, my friends and all that. And the first thing that made me feel so nice was my cousin brother forwarded a voice note of a friend of his. His friend he used to run a PlayStation place, you know, those guys. Yeah. And I don't know a lot about his education background, but to be honest, he's not someone who would consider poet, not even think about poetry at all. And this guy was telling me, OMG, this is the little girl who came, because I'd done campaigns in my high school, who came wanting to do posters at my place. Like, yo, this is amazing. I feel she's talking to me. Like, the thing about the poem is, it was a risky piece. Like, to be honest, up to date, people keep on telling me, you never pushed that poem. But yes, I never did because I was so scared. I was like, this sounds like an outright attack to whomsoever is governing the country. It's an attack. And no. I was just trying to be creative. I wasn't trying to do that.
Yeah.
That is not what I was aiming at. But so yeah, my cousin also put it up on his podcast. He's like, I know you, and he really does. I lose things, I lose pictures, I lose very important things because I keep losing and changing phones.
So you lost it? I thought you had shared it to your friends. Maybe
I had shared it, but like they don't owe it to me to keep
Yeah,
it.
I know.
They don't. So my cousin put it on his podcast as a way of preserving it, and he tells me like that episode was really aired. People really enjoyed it. People liked it. They say you should do more. And yeah, of course, I stepped into my procrastination era again, and then I lost contact with Lucky. And yeah, studio sessions are for paying for, and I want the next time I do this, I want to do it like in a professional way with good sound and all that and blah blah, not like in some ghetto way. So yeah,
But the ghetto paid off, you remember?
Yeah,
It
the
did.
ghetto really paid off.
One thing that is certain, we need to have a conversation with Peter. Because every person I'm talking to, political, I'm talking
Oh my
political,
goodness, like-
because he's the one that has taught you all these things.
Oh yeah, and I never even used to write a lot into the political scene until I actually just had the line. I didn't know it was a whole poem. I just had him saying the line just one time randomly, and he's like, my country is like a poorly taken selfie. And I paused. My body took a screenshot. Wow. Because I
took
related.
the selfie that you were talking about.
I related so hard. And my dad, God rest him, before he died, he was into the political scene and all that.
Yeah.
But I had told myself, no, I don't want to be into politics. I don't want to be like him. But I guess I am my father's daughter. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
maybe I'm not campaigning like he was. I'm not into the politics, but I'm doing it somewhere else, because almost everything I write keeps on taking that turn. It takes that turn. I'm like, let me write a love poem, and boom. It's a love
So you need
letter
to have
from
a
Uganda
debate.
to
You
her
need to have a
lover.
debate with Mohammed Rema. What she does not believe in genes. Yes, that's the expression I had. Like, what? Yes.
How can she know
doesn't.
it? I'm stuck
So,
with a Nubian nose because of my dad. What is she even talking about? What is she even talking about? I need to. I really need to. But one thing I have loved about poetry, above all the other things that I can do, is it shocks people when they hear the kinds of things that can come out of my mouth. The word play. I love that. I love that it introduces people to this Asha. This you didn't know I could.
The cool kid.
Yeah, the cool kid. Oh yeah, people had always told me it's a cool kid thing. Poetry is a cool kid thing, but it's really not, because when I was writing that poem about police brutality, I wasn't writing as a cool kid. I was writing as a citizen who's hurt by what's going on in the country. Like poetry is literally, now that I actually studied these things at campus,
Yeah.
poetry is the mother. People need to bow down. She's the mother. It's literally where everything began from.
So as we come to a conclusion of this, something that's really getting to me, I'm like, why aren't people listening to these pieces? Why aren't people listening to you? What do we need to do? I mean, what exactly do we need to do? Because I don't know.
It's just, to be honest, and I'm not saying this like to be, what is it called, pessimistic. There is nothing you can do with people whose mentors are rigid, you know? And I'm not like shooting at Ugandans that their mentors are rigid or whatnot or blah, blah, or all that. But there is a certain form of, because while poetry is also entertainment.
Yeah,
a lot of
I
it
know.
is education, but it's also entertainment. So people they are streamlined to this form of entertainment. Like, it's not just poetry that's lagging behind. There are other forms of entertainment in Uganda that are lagging behind. We see that there is some that's up there.
Yeah.
And then there is still some that's just struggling. And it's not that not good things aren't happening. The good things are actually happening. It's that people choose to go with something that's easier to go with, you know. I've done poetry since I was 8 years old. But the first time I actually got recognition, even other people like being like, oh, poetry, was because I did it in audio form.
I think it gets back to
sound and
us
all that.
marketing ourselves, our friends, marketing us.
Yeah.
The people that we know, so that they tell people that do not know us. And in that way, we're going to reach miles. We're going to go far away, more than this. So we need to be as good as we are to ourselves, to our friends, and our friends will tell their friends, and their friends tell their friends. And then will
I
be
also
very
feel
fun,
like
yeah?
we are growing.
Yeah,
To
we
be
are.
honest,
It's
we
evolution.
we are.
But it depends. There's gradual and rapid, yeah?
I like the slow burn.
Yeah, it's organic. You're
Yeah.
growing organically. I get that. You're growing organically, not inorganically. Like one day you're here,
You
the next day
skyrocket
you're
and then you're down. Yeah, it's very
crazy,
true.
man. It's crazy, yeah. And Asha, we could have gone ages with this conversation. We could have gone and
Oh,
inspired.
I don't know how to shut up.
But I guess we have to do so. We have to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for
It's a
having
pleasure,
me.
yeah.
The pleasure is all mine.
Okay.
We not only have voices for a podcast, but also faces for YouTube. Don't miss your next episode. Hear my true story.
Thank you for listening to our podcast, Music by Edwin Matovo, hosted and produced by Otako. Subscribe to our podcast for more stories and visit us on our website, hearmytruestory.com, for more stories. All the links are listed in the show notes of this podcast.